So I have here two different word problems that we are going to be looking at today. And with these word problems, I am going to show you different methods that we can use in order to solve the problems. So let's look at the first word problem. The first one we have, William and Sally put 160 marbles into a jar. William put in 83 of the marbles. How many marbles did Sally put in? So let's look at what the problem is asking us. It wants to know how many marbles. So from this question, we know that we are going to need to subtract. So how many marbles, and it wants to know it wants to know about Sally. How many did she put in? So let's look at the rest of the, let's go back and look at this part of the problem. So we know that William and Sally put in 160 of the marbles. So that's our total that we have. And we know that 83 of the marbles belong to William. So now a type of method that we can use to figure out what this problem is called separate. And it looks like this. This is the result. This is the start. And this right here is the change. Now looking at our problem, we know that we started off with 160 marbles. So we want to write 160 into our start circle. Then we know that the change is that 83 of them belong to William. So we're going to put our 83 right here. But we don't know is what the result is. So we want to put a question mark into this circle. And the reason why we know that we are going to use this diagram, the separate diagram, to figure out this type of word problem is because we know that we're subtracting. So you're going to use this diagram when you are subtracting. So the problem is going to end up looking like this. X, which is the result, we don't know, plus we do know that William has 83, and with the X plus the 83, we get the result of 160 or 160 marbles. So let's look at our strip diagrams for using this method. We have here 83 marbles. And then we have here the unknown, which is our X. And down here for this strip diagram, we have a total of 160. So now we looked at the separate diagram in helping us to figure out how to find the result for this word problem. Let's look at our second word problem. This one says, Henry and Cindy have 150 marbles in a jar. 86 of the marbles are Henry's. How many marbles belong to Cindy? So we want to know how many marbles that they belong to Cindy. So the word how many marble, or the words how many marbles, tells us that we are going to subtract. So we know that Cindy and Henry put in a total of 150 marbles into the jar. But out of this 150, we know that 86 of them belong to Henry. So we want to know about Cindy. Okay? Now, a model that we can use in order to figure out this subtraction word problem is what we call part, and whole. And this diagram looks like this. It's a square with 3 boxes inside of it. This box is one part. This other box is another part. And then down here we have our whole. Okay? So one part of this equation, or this word problem, is 86. We know that 86 of the marbles belong to Henry. The other part of the equation is the number of marbles that belong to Cindy. But we don't know how many marbles belong to Cindy, so we are going to put an X or a question mark right here. Now we know that the whole amount of marbles is 150 marbles because that's how many Henry and Cindy put in the jar together. So we're going to put 150 into here. So this, based off the subtraction, we know that we can use part, whole in order to find out the result for this problem. Let's look at our strip diagrams for this problem. From here to here, we know that we have 86 marbles. But from here to here, where's this? We have X, because that's the unknown. We don't know how many marbles Cindy put in. We're trying to figure that out. And then for this strip diagram, this is our whole. And we know that Henry and Cindy put in 150 of those marbles into the jar. So I have shown you 2 methods of figuring out word problems. We looked at the separate method, and we have looked at the part, whole method in figuring out our word problems.